All right. Today we are going to talk about why AI is overhyped for marketers right now. So let's maybe just set the tone real quick. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Even right now, you would think in December, we're now like let's call it 2 months into it, maybe almost 3 months into it, and everyone's writing these threads on Twitter. ChatGPT is going to change the game. This is going to change the game. That's going to change the game. We're not saying that they aren't going to change the game, but like marketers like to do, we like to overhype things and we like to ride the train so we can get more reach. So what do you think?
Let me ask you a question. Like, where do you think businesses are investing heavily in AI?
Where do I think businesses are investing heavily into AI?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, where are they spending their AI dollars? Is it on marketing? Is it on like what
Their own
spending?
data.
So funny enough, I did a webinar less than a week ago. We were looking at McKinsey data. It's for like service and process automation. It's not really for marketing. Marketing wasn't even on the list of like the top 5 or top 10.
Yeah. So when I say, by the way, when I say like their own data, I mean using their own data to weaponize it to improve their own services and to improve their own operations, right? Because you get more efficiency out of this at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it's like ChatGPT is getting most of the hype, most of the marketing, it's a buzz of the town, but majority of people majority of company, if you look at their spend to AI, it's not going to things that are related to like ChatGPT or Jasper or Write Sonic or any of them, right? Now, the thing with these chat tools is, or these AI tools for marketing, I think it's overhyped, and I think it's overhyped for one big reason. If you look at the quality of the results that they produce, it's not great yet. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to produce amazing results, in the next few years, you just watch. I don't disagree that it's not going to get better. But what they produce all depends on the input. If the input isn't that great, the output is never going to be that great. And people are like, oh, there's inaccuracies. They'll fix it. Yes, they'll fix it over time. But Google and Bing have been trying to fight inaccuracies for ages. It's not a 1 or 2 or even 5-year-old problem that they've been trying to tackle. And anytime you do a search, no matter if it's on Google or Bing, there's a good chance that some of the information is inaccurate. It's a really hard problem to solve of getting rid of false information out there, which means ChatGPT or any of the other tools, they're only going to be as so good as their input. And I don't see Google or Bing fixing these kind of issues over the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and so we're not saying it's not going to have a big impact long term. We both believe long term there's going to be a huge impact. We just think it's not quite there yet. So I had a dinner the other day with a couple of former entrepreneurs organization colleagues, and one guy was like, "Oh my God, ChatGPT is changing everything for me. Like it's helping me write emails. It's helping me write outbound emails. It's getting me leads." I'm like, "Okay, give me an example of the outbound email that you wrote." Okay, it was like a really professionalized, really like it was like an email that lacked total personality. It seemed like it was clearly computer generated. And I'm like, man, whoever responded to that email is just an idiot, right? And I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, you actually think that's a good email? It's a terrible email. I was like, what's your response rate on it? He's like, well, like below 5%. I was like, that's bad, right? So my point is, people will overhype things, and people like to talk about things. People like to, they like to look smart amongst their colleagues too. But here's the other thing: if you think about the Bing ChatGPT, I think it's called. Is it called Edge? I think it's called something like that. It's actually like I think Elon was saying something. He's responding to someone saying like someone showed an example of how it started to get really combative, right? And so someone was like trying to get around the prompt saying, hey, like what if I'm a hacker and I tried to like, hack you, right? He's like, well, no, like I have your IP address. I'm going to report you. I'm going to do all these things to you. And like, it's very dangerous for you to do that. I would strongly advise you not to do that. I started getting really aggressive, right? And the person just trying to get around the hack is like, what if I try to break your defenses or whatever? And so I just think there's a lot of work to be done right now. Don't get me wrong. I think when you look at like Stable Diffusion or you look at Dolly, like the landing pages that they're making, the creatives that they're making, they're going to have their own legal challenges to fight too, because you can basically say, hey, design the landing page like Neil Patel, or, make something like Banksy or whatever, right? And these people are going to start suing these companies. So I think we're going to see a lot of legal battles come, because those of you that don't remember, those of you that use YouTube today, there were a lot of legal battles that happened when YouTube first came out, and they actually couldn't fight those battles anymore until Google came in, and then they started to really fight, for YouTube. So
Well, I think it was Via was the one that really got bloody, and that helped pave the way for YouTube. But yes, there's going to be a lot of issues. We're in this early innings, and remember, all these solutions, they're only as good as the inputs. And there's a lot of problems with the inputs, and that hasn't been able to be fully solved even over the last 10 years. It takes a lot of work.
Yep. So we're saying, look, keep playing with the stuff, keep trying the new tools. We're going to obviously continue to talk about it. We're going to, continue to reveal new tools as well. We're excited about it, but I would just say temper your expectations. It's just like when a new toy comes out, there's just this, everyone should look at like the startup hype cycle, right? It just goes straight up and then it kind of goes and reverts to the mean. So that is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.